favorite drivers go head-to-head on the track, where action and danger have no limits.
Over the wall!
The ARCA Racing Series from Pocono, coming up next, live on Speed.
A woman. A woman and her truck. A woman, her truck, and a 1,200-pound passenger. And two bodies with one mind. And a ribbon that goes on her wall, not in her hair. The all-new Chevy Silverado with the best available towing and a full-size pickup. Strong for all the roads ahead.
So I'm looking for a purple, but not like the purple, but more like a purple. Know what I mean?
Yeah. You want the color, but you don't want to be smothered by it. You want something you could live with for a long time.
Find your soul paint. We'll help this Saturday with a free quart of your perfect color from Clark & Kensington Paint and Primer in One. This Saturday at Ace, the helpful place.
She's still the one for you. You know it even after all these years. But your erectile dysfunction, you know, that could be a question of blood flow. Cialis Tadalafil for daily use helps you be ready anytime the moment's right. You can be more confident in your ability to be ready. And the same Cialis is the only daily ED tablet approved to treat ED and symptoms of BPH, like needing to go frequently or urgently. Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions and medications, and ask if your heart is healthy enough for sexual activity. Do not take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Do not drink alcohol in excess with Cialis. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injuries, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease or loss in hearing or vision, or if you have any allergic reactions such as rash, hives, swelling of the lips, tongue, or throat, or difficulty breathing or swallowing, stop taking Cialis and get medical help right away. Ask your doctor about Cialis for daily use and a 30-tablet free trial.
And it's all over! John Jones! That's a warrior right there, ladies and gentlemen. Most recent race on Speed, it was Corey LaJoie who got the win. His first win in the ARCA Racing Series. That happened at Chicago. A year ago, actually, just months ago, it was Chase Elliott who went to victory lane here in Pocono. Now the front row will be made up of the top two in points because we didn't have qualifying earlier. Mason Mingus will start beside Frank Kimmel. Kimmel currently leading the points, looking for his 10th championship in the ARCA Racing Series. That's all happening right here at Pocono.
The ARCA Racing Series, presented by Menards, blew through Chicago. Corey LaJoie would capitalize in the Windy City.
Corey LaJoie, he gets his first win in the ARCA Racing Series.
And at New Jersey Motorsports Park, Andrew Ranger wrangled the road course victory from Chase Elliott. Now looking to tackle the tricky triangle for a second time this season. These ARCA Series drivers will have to showcase their skills.
Ooh, contact up into the wall.
Cascading through corners and sailing down the straights with scandalous speeds. Will Chase find redemption in the ModSpace 125 and secure the season sweep on this super speedway? Or will someone else steal the show at Pocono? Don't miss the ARCA Racing Series drama coming up.
It's a Friday night feature from Pocono Raceway for the ARCA Racing Series, the ModSpace 125, only 125 miles, a 50-lap race. It's going to go quick. You don't want to blink. Overcast skies, now 75 degrees, and winds upwards of 10 miles per hour here in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Hello, everyone. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons with you once again as we get ready for the second trip to Pocono. Now, this is actually the third race in a 10-race stretch that is grueling for ARCA.
Well, it certainly is, because these guys aren't like the Cup teams with 50 employees per team, a couple 300 employees industry company-wide. These guys have a lot of part-time help and a lot of friends that come at night and work on these cars. So to run the schedule that these guys run is amazingly tough. And these guys, as you mentioned, we had Chicago a couple of weeks ago, Corey LaJoie won. And then last week at New Jersey, it was a road course. And right here we see these cars start the race. There's Andrew Ranger in the 53 car and Chase Elliott with a great battle on the road course. Chase Elliott is going to finish second to Andrew Ranger. That's the third win in a row for Andrew Ranger on that racetrack at New Jersey. But again, we've got this 2.5-mile race here, Rick, and then we go to the short track of Berlin next week, and then a couple-mile dirt tracks sandwiched around Madison, half-mile, then the Iowa Speedway, another half-mile at Salem, and we end up this 10-race stretch at Kentucky Speedway, that mile-and-a-half racetrack.
All right, so a very tough 10-race stretch, but let's talk specifically about this race. 50 laps, what's the strategy?
Well, the rule is that you have to pit by lap number 40. So a lot of the guys in the garage you were talking about, we can run about 45 laps on fuel. We could see cars pitting for the final time as early as 5 or 6 laps into this race.
This seems like one of those races where you're going to have to be right up on your A game the second that the green flag drops, because it is a short and very quick race. Let's go into the garage and see Jim Trado.
And guys, to your point, Frank Kimmel, by nature of qualifying rain down, he gets the front row starting spot for the second straight time here, but his experience may play. This 9-time series champion has the point lead, has the front row starting spot, but also his points nemesis, Mason Mingus, starts alongside. No qualifying, so these guys are going head-to-head, but when you do the tail of the tape, Kimmel, 38 starts here, 3 wins. Mason Mingus made his debut here at Pocono just this past June, both finishing top 10. These drivers are poised to get out front and try to get those bonus points or leading laps early. And then late in the practice session, Mason Mingus actually spun trying to find more speed because 2 young drivers mid-pack have found it thus far in practice, Ray.
You know, Jim, 9 of the 12 races we've seen this year in ARCA have been won from a qualifying position of 6th or better. But when we were here back in June, Chase Elliott started 32nd, and he came through the field. Today, he's got a better starting position. This car will start 23rd. And I am also going to keep my eye on Corey LaJoie. LaJoie will be back in 18th. I have a feeling these 2 young drivers will be heading to the front in a hurry.
And it's going to make for great television. We're glad that you're along with us. We'll be able to ride along with a few different drivers in this. We'll show them to you next. And welcome back to Pocono Raceway. This is going to be the 57th ARCA Pocono race for the ARCA Racing Series. And to get everything underway, let's go trackside for our pre-race ceremonies as you see the drivers strapped in.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the 55th Armor Brigade Combat Team, Pennsylvania National Guard, presents our nation's colors. Remain standing as Pastor David Crosby Jr. of Pocono Community Church offers today's invocation.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your love, your grace, and your mercy that's new every morning. We pray your blessing on this event today. Give us a great, safe day. We thank you for this opportunity to live in the greatest nation here in the world, and America, and these troops that signify all those that are standing in harm's way. Bring them home safe. Now be with each and every one of these drivers. Father, may they be safe and finish well. Bless the fans and all those that are here today. We love you. We thank you. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome local singing sensation from Pocono Lake, Pennsylvania, Crystal Martinez.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet
drivers are strapped in, getting ready for the command to fire engines. But before they do that, let's go back trackside to Jim Trado.
Certainly a driver to watch, guys, is Eric Jones. He finished second here in June in his only ARCA start. He's had 3 times in Kyle Busch's truck, all top 10 finishes this year. How did he get to this point? Well, 10 races last year in the ARCA Racing Series produced 5 top 5 finishes. He was very fast in practice. This number 15 team certainly has a lot riding with them, including the winning crew chief for this race a year ago, Kevin Reed, calling the shots last year for Chad Hockenbrough. So look for Eric Jones to be a contender in the 15 car. Ray?
You know, Jim, I came to my first race here at Pocono back in 1989, and looking back over the years, I thought to myself, this has got to be a track high on the list of all-time racetracks for the ARCA Series, and I was correct. It's 4th on that list with 56 races here. Today will be the 57th. But what's cool, in the last 15 races here, we've had 15 different winners. There's 2 guys in this field that could change that stat today, Frank Kimmel and Chase Elliott. I think either of those guys would be a pretty good pick right here at Pocono.
Thanks, Ray. And Frank Kimmel's going to start on the pole. Chase Elliott will have to come all the way from 23rd in the field if he wants to defend his race win from June of earlier this year. The command will be next. Stay with us. Coverage of the ARCA Racing Series on Speed is brought to you by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs. Beautiful racetrack, beautiful facility here. A very quick race, though, Phil.
It really is. 50 laps. So the guys in the garage are saying, hey, if we didn't have to pit before lap 40, we think we would try to stretch it, count on a few caution laps and make it all the way. So NASCAR mandates these guys are going to have to come in before lap 40.
Just had 1 hour of practice earlier today before we're going to see the green flag. But first, let's fire the engines. We go for the command.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome our Grand Marshal, Vice President of Business Development for ModSpace, William Mann.
Drivers, start your engines!
36 cars come to life. Your STP starting grid will roll across the top of your screen. The field set by owner points because we did not have qualifying. It was scheduled for earlier this morning because they had rain yesterday and a little bit of a, I guess, damp racetrack earlier this morning. They did not have that practice, so they canceled qualifying. They set the field by owner points. We want to take a look at our Scott Brand Rookie Challenge Spotlight. Corey LaJoie. He will start in the 18th spot after coming off a big win at Chicagoland 2 races ago, where he led 38 laps. That was his first career ARCA start or ARCA win, and now his first career ARCA start taking place here at Pocono.
And I love that car. It looks like a taxi cab.
And you're fond of taxi cabs.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, Corey, I talked with him earlier. He made the comment, this place is very difficult. The car was good. The driver had to get better. And that 1 hour of practice was very important for him to try to learn this 2.5-mile racetrack.
And he got better. He ended up 3rd quickest in that practice session.
Take a look at our Menards Pole Awards presented by Ansel for the season. This isn't obviously from today because of the fact that rain washed out qualifying. Ryan Blaney, Andrew Ranger, both have won a pole already this year. They're the only multiple winners of poles this year. And then you see the other names of the people who have set the best times, including Ken Schrader, oldest winner in ARCA Racing Series history.
Oldest winner, and as of last week, the oldest pole winner in the 3 major series of NASCAR. But Mother Nature's won out a little bit in some of these qualifying sessions for the ARCA Racing Series.
Definitely. Cars beginning to roll off of pit road. Let's go back to pit road and Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. A number of cars will be starting deep in the field, and another one of those I want to point out is Mason Mitchell. Now, Mason started out this season driving for the Rouleau brothers in car number 99. He's had an up and down season throughout. He did not compete at New Jersey on the road course, but this week he's got a brand new association. He'll be driving the number 82 for Empire Motorsports, and today he'll start 26, but that does not indicative at all of how good this race car is. If he has a little bit of patience, he can move forward, I'm sure. Earlier this season, he had a great run right here at Pocono, finished 5th, which is his season best. I'm going to be watching the 82 Happy Cheeks race car. Jim?
Well, Ray, the defending race winner is not here, Chad Hockenroth. The strategy they played out 1 year ago in this 50-lap sprint race is certainly in the notebook. Everybody opened up when they said, what's going to happen early August come Pocono for that 50-lap race? They pitted on lap number 7, did he and his crew chief Kevin Reed. Then everyone had to peel off and come down pit road after him. So that early pit stop for Hockenroth is on the mind of a lot of these competitors. I did ask Kevin Reed, I said, okay, that card's been played. What is your plan now? He said, we can't do that. That was a fuel gamble that paid off for us, but with his young driver, Eric Jones, they are going to try to do everything they can to pit about 15 or 20. Look for Frank Kimmel, our pole sitter. He said, I can't afford to come in that early. I'm thinking my lap 15, if it's green, I'm coming to get my tires and my fuel and see what we can get out of the finish if I'm not running up front. Ray?
Hey, Jim, I said earlier that Corey LaJoie would start 18th in this race. That's where he was scheduled because of owner's points, but guess what? He's going to have to go to the tail of the field. He started to roll off of the line and stopped his race car to make an adjustment. You cannot do that. So the number 17 medallion race car to the tail, so it'll be interesting to see how long it takes for a fired-up Corey LaJoie to work through the field.
Yeah, Ray, we're used to seeing drivers stop and adjust their steering wheel. They will not allow that in ARCA Racing Series like they do in NASCAR. So we've seen that happen before where the guys will have to go to the back of the pack for that adjustment.
And so it just became a little more interesting. Corey LaJoie will have to come from the back of the field. Most recent winner from Pocono will have to come from 23rd. Tomorrow, NASCAR's toughest stare, danger in the eyes as they tangle on the Pocono Triangle. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series from Pocono. That's tomorrow, kicking off at 12:30 Eastern, live on Speed. Of course, qualifying at 10 Eastern to set the field for the 50-lap race here in the Pocono Mountains 125. We're riding along with a few different drivers, one of those being 19-year-old Mason Mitchell. He has 5 or 4 fifth-place finishes. That's the best he's ever finished in a race. We'll look to improve on that today, but again, starts from the 26th position.
We're also going to ride along with the 23 car of Spencer Geller. That's the Legion Travel Chevrolet. He will start in the 16th spot. Had a great runner-up finish this year earlier at Salem. Missed a couple of races with a bit of an injury, but back again full-time now.
Justin Boston also is going to carry one of our cameras. He'll start 6th. 23-year-old out of Baltimore, Maryland, has a best finish of 4th. He's done that 3 times. So Justin Boston also trying to improve upon his career best finish today.
Rick, we're also going to ride along with the number 32 car of Mason Mingus. That's the 811 Call Before You Dig Toyota. His worst finish this year and only non-top 10 was a 12th. Problem is, Frank Kimmel, who leads the points, hasn't finished out of the top 10. That's why he's second points, but he will start this race by virtue of points in the 2nd spot.
It was just over a month ago when we were here in June for the race when it was all Chase Elliott in the 9. A dominant performance by that young man, getting his first ARCA Racing Series win, coming right here at Pocono. His dad watching on, was able to join him in victory lane as the celebration went for quite some time. We have an opportunity to potentially chat with him.
Let's see if we can talk to Chase. Hey, Chase Elliott, Phil Parsons up in the speed booth. You got a copy?
And then, you know our strategy. We're going to stick to it. Yep.
Hey, Chase, Phil Parsons up in the speed booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, 10-4, go ahead.
We just saw some highlights of your big win here back in June. I know you have the same race car. Starting a little bit of a hole here, but you did that in June as well. You got the car to win?
I definitely think so. I'm excited about it. I think we're smart, and if I can do, you know, have a nice mistake-free race and put ourselves in good position, try to be there when it counts, I think we'll be in good shape.
All right, buddy. Good luck.
Thank you.
Ray Dunlap.
You know, guys, it's interesting. When we go to this racetrack from June to the 2nd race, it's sometimes different. Chase was very, very loose coming off of turn number 3. And the race that he won earlier this year, today in practice, he said he was pretty tight, about a 4 tight. So they made a few adjustments. Lance McGrew said, I think we've got a good enough car, though, to make it to the front.
Long Pond straightaway. And looks as though we've got an issue for Chad Boat in the 84. We're going to go another lap. We'll take a break. Be right back. Sunday before Pocono's green flag drops, turn to NASCAR Race Day as Speed delivers expert analysis, breaking news, and the biggest names in racing. Don't miss NASCAR Race Day Sunday at 10 Eastern right here on Speed.
And the plot is thickening here. We're getting close to the race to the chase winding down.
And how about Matt Crafton watching his teammate, the 44, Frank Kimmel out of Thor Sport.
Yeah, Frank actually ran the truck race in Iowa as a teammate to Matt Crafton and Johnny Sauter in the third Thor Sport truck.
Frank Kimmel tying the record of Iggy Katona earlier this year when he got his 79th win in the ARCA Racing Series, looking to separate himself as the winningest driver ever in the history of this sport. Iggy Katona in 630 starts gained 79 wins, and Frank has done it in 460 starts.
You see, 9-time series champion, well on his way potentially to a 10th here with a 180-point lead coming into this race.
Talked about the 10 race stretch that they're right in the center of. The diversity that this series matched only by the Camping World Truck Series now, as far as road course, super speedways, short tracks, dirt tracks. Let's look at the numbers for Pocono. Call it the tricky triangle, a 2.5-mile super speedway, one of the longest straightaways in the sport.
Over 3,700 feet on the front straightaway. That's why it's so critical to get off that Milwaukee turn number 3. Remember, all 3 of these turns were patterned after IndyCar racetracks. Trenton, New Jersey down in turn number 1, 14 degrees, and then Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 8 degrees. That one of the most intimidating corners in all of racing, the tunnel turn here, and you see the length of the straightaways. Nothing's the same here. The length of the straightaways and none of the corners are the same. That's why it makes this racetrack very challenging.
So challenging for not only the drivers but crew chiefs, trying to give their drivers the perfect setup for these cars.
Full field of 36 cars now going to take the green.
Once again, set by points. Frank Kimmel, Mason Mingus. Green flag in the air. We're underway.
Chase Elliott wastes no time pulling into the inside there. Gonna make sure, hopefully he didn't do it a little bit too early.
Side by side they go. A little smoke coming out of the cars as they enter turn number 1.
You know, Ray reported that Corey LaJoie was going to have to go to the back of the pack. He did not. He actually started in front of the 9 of Chase Elliott. So we're going to have to wait and see if the ARCA racing officials allowed him to keep that starting spot.
Side by side for the lead continuing. Kimmel on the inside, Mason Mingus on the outside. Here comes that 15 of Eric Jones.
Remember, Eric Jones in that 15 car was Chase Elliott's closest competition here in June. Got a huge advantage by starting so close to the front. How about Will Kimmel now taking over the 3rd spot?
Will Kimmel in the 22 holding on to 3rd. Mason Mingus in the 32 drops back to 4th. Coming up on the first lap complete of 50. It's Kimmel out in front.
A lot of smoke continuing to billow out of that blue car there. That's the 02 of Josh Williams. He had a 2nd place run at Chicago just a couple weeks ago. And we see Eric Jones now go to the lead in the 15 car.
Kimmel led right at the line, but it goes to Eric Jones now as your race leader. Will Kimmel holding on to 3rd. Frank Kimmel, uncle to Will Kimmel.
See nephew Will right there in the 3rd spot. We're getting a report that a number of cars came down pit road on the pace lap. So the 17 of Corey LaJoie, we see him right there racing with Chase Elliott, was good to start in his position.
Chase Elliott able to get by that 17. Now Corey LaJoie will try to follow in the tire tracks of that 9. See if he can march his way to the front. We know Chase Elliott, one of the strongest cars here once again.
See, they move to the inside of the 55 of Taylor Ferns. First super speedway start for her, driving for Venturini Motorsports in the 55 car.
Taylor just a 17-year-old out of Michigan. Eric Jones wants to put as much distance between himself and Chase Elliott as he can. Drivers thinking this will be a one-stop race. Riding along with the 25 of Justin Boston. Justin started in the 6th position.
Justin's been very, very consistent here. Only one finish out of the top 10 since the 5th race of the year at Toledo.
Through the tunnel turn. You mentioned one of the more difficult in all of racing.
Certainly intimidating. I would call it the most intimidating corner in racing.
Just rode through the short chute, now through the sweeping wide turn number 3.
See Tom Hessert, the 77 car, coming off a great runner-up finish at New Jersey last week, right there behind the 25 of Justin Boston.
ARCA Racing officials are posting the 0-2. They will black flag the 0-2 and make sure that that car comes onto pit road, because that was the one smoking. They were thinking potentially putting fluid on the racetrack.
We saw the 25 of Justin Boston pull out a line there to try to maybe get a run at Will Kimmel. Didn't quite work out. Will's going to hold on to that 4th spot. Here comes Chase Elliott now at the back of this pack here, already up into the top 10 along with Corey LaJoie. Right now they run 8th and 9th.
Moved by the 82 of Mason Mitchell. Staying right in front of that 9, trying to.
Almost looks like an issue there for Tom Hessert.
Hessert slow on the track. Left front tire down. And smoke rolling out from underneath that one.
I was talking to a lot of the crew chiefs in the garage here, and I said, do you foresee any tire issues? They said, no, not really. We haven't had any issues at all in practice. So undoubtedly Tom ran over something on the racetrack.
Able to stay up to speed. They have interliners when they're on super speedways, and so Tom Hessert will make his way onto pit road, and we stay green.
Tom was 3rd in points coming in here. He was running in the 6th spot when that tire went down. See now Corey LaJoie, that yellow car, has been able to get around the 9 of Chase Elliott. He has Brennan Newberry. I'm sorry, that's Mason Mitchell in the 82 car in between them.
Able to get by that 82 of Mason Mitchell. So riding along with Mason as we look toward that 17. And now the 9 of Chase Elliott making the move to the inside.
Right now Corey LaJoie up to 6, Chase Elliott up to 7th.
Tom Hessert changes to the left front. He'll get back out on the track.
He will lose a lap as here go the leaders down the front straightaway.
A little bit of smoke coming out of that 17 of Corey LaJoie inside the left tire. Looks like it might be rubbing a little bit. Let's go back down to Jim Trado.
Real quick update, guys. Tom Hessert didn't know the initial problem, but it was a flat left front off the tire itself. They changed both left side tires. They packed it full of fuel. They said, I guess we're going to go to the end now, but only 2 tires for Hessert on this pit stop. So that kind of forced his hand. See how damaged that tire is, but the interliner did its job here for Hoosier.
Yeah, that may be able to get him in his window. Again, we were talking about probably stopping as early as 5, 6, 7 laps. That was pretty early, but they may be able to stretch it now. He may have to get a few caution laps to get it done, though.
Side by side, Boston on the inside, Corey LaJoie on the outside. LaJoie's going to take the spot away from Boston. LaJoie moving up into the 5th spot now.
Right along with Mason Mitchell. That's the 22 of Will Kimmel in front of him. That's a battle for 7th. There's Josh Williams, the 02 car that we saw smoking from the very start of the race, coming down pit road to the attention of his crew.
Definitely not what he was hoping for as far as the start to this race. The 19-year-old will have a birthday tomorrow. This isn't what he was looking for a present. In front of the field, Eric Jones, that 17-year-old leading at Pocono. He's got Frank Kimmel just behind him, looking for that elusive 80th victory. Coming up on 9 laps complete of the ModSpace 125, and yes, the 44 of Frank Kimmel back in front of Eric Jones. He was able to make the pass.
Jones hanging right in there with Frank right now. Here we are here. You see Eric's going to run up on a slow car at the exit of the tunnel turn, and look at the momentum that the 44 of Frank Kimmel had, because he was able to get through that corner without worrying about that lap car, and he beat him down to turn 3.
Carried that momentum through turn 3 and has been able to hold on to the lead. Eric Jones running in the 2nd spot.
Remember, we talked about Eric Jones, the fact he's finished in the top 10 in all 3 of his truck starts. As a matter of fact, he had a runner-up finish at Iowa last time out. Told me in the garage area this morning he's going to run a couple more Truck Series races. The next one at Iowa and at the end of the year at Phoenix.
Eric Jones continuing to chase Frank Kimmel. Then it's Elliott that's made his way all the way up to the 3rd spot. Mason Mingus running 4th, and Corey LaJoie rounding out our top 5.
Chase Elliott that time ran about a half a second faster than Frank Kimmel on this most recent lap, and it was even a greater margin on the lap previous to this one.
He is closing the gap now. There are no cars in between he and second place Eric Jones. Now is Chase Elliott having to work harder on his tires to get up to the front than these guys that are running up in front of him now, and will that hurt him later in this run?
I think these guys are doing all they can do right now. They know this is a short race, only 50 laps. They have to go. I'm sure Eric Jones and Frank Kimmel would love to got a little bit of a gap on Chase Elliott, but Chase Elliott's coming no matter what. You see a great battle here. Corey LaJoie is going to make it 3 wide for the 3rd spot, 4th spot.
And Corey LaJoie takes it away. So Mason Mingus will drop back to the 5th position. Corey LaJoie up to 4th. Look at Corey going into turn 1.
Well, this is the most recent time they were in turn 1. He said, well, let me go through the middle. Nah, I don't have enough room. Going to show a little patience here. We've only completed 11 laps of this race, but again, it's only a 50-lap race.
That was a smart move by Corey LaJoie. Corey had mentioned that he had never been on this racetrack before earlier today when he was out there for practice, and he said that hour of practice was great for him. He gained almost a second just learning how to drive this track.
See Mason Mitchell now able to get by the 25 car of Justin Boston. He slides up the racetrack. It opens up the bottom once again for Boston.
Justin Boston will take the spot right back away.
That's into the tunnel turn. That's the tunnel turn right there. That was a long pond straightaway that Justin was able to get back by Mason Mitchell.
And this, the longest straightaway, over 3,700 feet. Mason Mitchell going right behind Justin Boston.
And remember, we're used to hearing the Cup Series cars shift on this racetrack. ARCA cars are not allowed to shift. They have enough 3rd gear that makes it impossible to shift. It's too much of a gap between 3rd and 4th gear.
Coming up on the back of that 22 of Will Kimmel.
That's Brendan Newberry, regular in the Camping World Truck Series. Runs a handful of ARCA starts, and going to give it a start here. It's going to really help him for tomorrow's Truck Series race with his track time.
Top 3, Frank Kimmel, Eric Jones, Chase Elliott working their way through turn number 3. Chase Elliott has closed the gap now on the back bumper of 2nd.
Chase Elliott started in the 23rd position, and in 13 laps he is right there with the leaders.
Chase with that long straightaway. Steps into turn number 1. Looking for an opening to get by the 15 of Eric Jones.
Well, that car hanging right there on the yellow line. It's going to move him up. He's going to pull up beside the 15 of Eric Jones.
Now Long Pond straightaway. Now into turn number 2. Chase Elliott's taken 2nd away from Eric Jones. What a march forward this 9 of Chase Elliott has done, right?
And it was pretty well expected, Rick. He was very good in practice, and as I said, he has been a little bit tight here and there. He just came on the radio and told his crew chief, Lance McGrew, I'm a little bit tight on my entry to 1, but he said I can make up some difference on how I arc it in there. He said I'd probably call it a 3 or 4. Lance said, okay, good information. Just keep on digging, and they're digging, and right now looks like he may have a shot at going after the 44. He's trying for the lead.
He took a peek down to the inside, saw a couple lap cars down there, and said, well, let me have a little more patience here. Let me wait till we have some clean racetrack.
In June, it was dominant for Chase Elliott in the number 9. He was able to get out front, hold off Eric Jones, who was his closest challenger. And now it's Frank Kimmel that's in front of this field, and Chase Elliott has to get by the 9-time champ.
Remember that win in June for Chase wasn't the first Elliott win here at Pocono. His dad Bill has 5 Cup wins here.
Elliott family knows Victory Lane very well at Pocono. Kimmel holding his own up front. Kimmel won at this racetrack twice before, back in 1999 and 2005. Once again, we see Chase Elliott looking to the inside of that 44.
We had the ARCA Series race from Chicago on as you see Chase Elliott look down to the inside, talking to Frank about potentially beating Iggy Katona's record. And he said, I can't even fathom that. You know, growing up, just to try to race was what we wanted to do. But you've been so fortunate to win the championships, and He said it would be amazing to try to beat Iggy Katona's record of 79 wins.
More on Kimmel. Jim Trado.
Rick and Phil, while Frank told me before the race about lap 15, we want to come down pit road. His crew chief, Jared Prince, on the left side of your screen, just asked Frank, hey, it's lap 15. How good is your race car? He said, it's really good. They were also keeping the intervals between himself and the 9 as Chase Elliott makes the move down the front stretch. Frank Kimmel's happy with his race car thus far.
3 wide as they're going for the lead. Chase Elliott all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack. Eric Jones in the middle and Frank Kimmel on the high side. Chase Elliott takes the lead away in Pocono.
Yeah, Frank Kimmel came up on some lap traffic, slowed his momentum a little bit. Chase had a good run that opened up the bottom for Eric Jones as well. Now Frank's trying to fight back on the 15 of Eric Jones.
Frank Kimmel goes from leading to third in half a lap. Chase Elliott in front, Eric Jones running second. Kimmel now to third. Sunday, after the tangle on the tricky triangle, turn to speed for the ultimate post-race coverage and celebrate with the winner. NASCAR Victory Lane, live from Pocono at Sunday, right after the race, only on Speed.
Had a great battle here for the 5th spot. That's the 25 of Justin Boston. Right now he runs in the 6th spot. Mason Mingus in the 32, that black car, running 7th. Mason Mitchell was able to get by those 2 cars to move up to the 5th spot. He's in the 82 car. There's Brendan Newberry right there, the 92 car that's going to join that battle with Mason Mingus in the 32.
Brendan Newberry running in the 8th spot. You see the 9 of Chase Elliott. Very close call there. Eric Jones just on his inside. Chase Elliott trying to hold off Eric Jones. A great run for Jones.
Yeah, these guys are trading the fastest lap each lap. One lap it'll be Chase, the next lap it'll be Eric Jones. They've opened up a little bit over a 3-second lead on the 3rd place car right now, Frank Kimmel.
Kimmel led the first 9 laps. Then it was Eric Jones out front for 6. Chase Elliott has led 5 and continues to add to his laps led. And we're seeing now the 44 of Kimmel making a pit stop onto pit road on lap 21.
We'll see if Frank's guys decide to put tires on this car or just fuel. You see Matt Crafton down there, that red shirt.
He's holding
the pit board. Yes, absolutely. He's a teammate. Frank has to go all the way down to the end of pit road, which seems like that's 3,700 feet.
At the first pit stall, and here comes that 44. Team goes over the wall.
Looks like they are going to put right side tires on, Jim.
Pretty much a scheduled stop, guys. They did want to get it green or yellow, as Frank talked about. His crew chief, Jared Prince, said, how about we pit about lap 20? That was 2 laps ago. Right side's only for Frank, and fuel, just a bit of a tire pressure to help with tight condition on that 44 Ansel Menards Toyota.
There is a mandatory stop of the 50 laps, and now Chase Elliott, race leader, comes on to pit road, Ray.
Lap 22 on the board. He took the lead on lap number 16. They called in that Aaron's Dream Machine, and they're going to go with 4 tires here. Why not? When you have the dominant car, don't take any chances. Sunoco fuel going in. The guys will hang tires on the right side. Pretty good stop so far on the right. They come around to the left. This gives them an opportunity to make an air pressure adjustment on the right front. Lance McGrew says, ready, guys, get her set. And plenty of fuel. He stalls it. A little bit of a problem on the front, but that's a good car with 4 fresh tires.
Chase Elliott, I like that call here to bring him in now, because if the caution light comes out, they can stay on the racetrack and have track position, both he and Frank Kimmel. Remember, he had some issues during our Truck Series race, had a great truck at Dover, had a couple speeding penalties on pit road, still ended up with a top 5 finish, and you can see him come out now right with the 44 of Frank Kimmel. Frank is going to be able to get by as they go through turn 1, but the important thing is both of those cars ahead of the 15 of Eric Jones, still on the lead lap.
Eric Jones, race leader. Corey LaJoie runs second. And now the green flag pit stops are taking place.
Brendan Newberry, the 92 car, is in the pits. Remember, Brendan was running in about the 7th or the 8th spot.
Spencer Gallagher in the 23 also making his way onto pit road.
Spencer also in the top 10 when he hit pit road.
Right now 14 cars on the lead lap. As you mentioned, very important. Chase Elliott and Frank Kimmel both stayed on the lead lap.
And some may ask why, if you can go 40 or 45 laps, why would you pit so early? I think now these guys would love, they know they have enough fuel to get to the end of the race. They would love for the caution flag to come out right now, and everybody else, Eric Jones on back that hasn't been to pit road, they would have to do it under caution, and they would be able to pull around right to the front on the pace car and have the lead on the restart.
Eric Jones in front. He has a 6.5-second lead over Corey LaJoie, who's running second. Both of those cars have not been on pit road yet. They'll still have to come down and make their service. Coverage of the ARCA Racing Series on Speed is brought to you by Ansel Protective Products. For over 100 years, the world leader in hand protection. Eric Jones has been out front. Now has led the most laps at 11. Frank Kimmel's led 9. Chase Elliott has led 6. But the 15 of Eric Jones will have to come to pit road. Why is he still out there, Phil?
Well, you have to be close to the lead to be able to pit and not lose a lap. Obviously, Chase Elliott, Frank Kimmel both came in, as well as Brennan Newberry, and stayed on the lead lap. Right now, Eric Jones is leading the race. He has a 7-second lead. He could easily get to pit road and maintain the lead. I think he should come in. Now, we've run over half this race, so he would have less to run on a new set of tires if he was to come in now. I don't think there's any sense waiting for the caution flag to come out, because he's going to lose those spots to Chase Elliott, Frank Kimmel, if they stay on the racetrack. So I think right now would be a good time for him to come on in the pits. And here's a good shot of Nick Igdalski. Ran into him at dinner last night and has had such a good run going in June. Ended up getting wrecked by somebody else who's running well into the top 10. Right now, Nick has another good run going. He's running the 7th spot.
Top 10 and only 10 on the lead lap now. So Eric Jones continuing to stay out front and stay on the racetrack. He has a little over 7.5-second lead over Corey LaJoie. Then the gaps continue to widen behind them. 25, Justin Boston in the 3rd spot, but he's almost 20 seconds behind our race leader, Eric Jones.
You know, Eric Jones is still running really fast laps, even though he has 28 laps on his tires. He just ran the fastest lap of anybody that last lap at a 53.90. Chase Elliott was a couple tenths of a second slower, so he's still running good lap times. You know, the one thing they may be looking at, Kevin Reed's his crew chief, the longer we stay out, the fresher our tires will be when we do put them on. But again, I think he wants to be in before the caution flag comes out. I think that would be a huge advantage. Again, a huge gap back to second to the 17 car of Corey LaJoie. Right there is Corey in the cab.
Corey also needs to come onto pit road. Wouldn't this be a great opportunity for Corey LaJoie to come down pit road, so that he's on a little different of a cycle as far as coming onto pit road, different tires. We see the smoke on the left side. Once again, he's still got that tire rub on the left front, but a little fresher tires than Chase Elliott and Frank Kimmel, who came in earliest.
But a little bit of a gamble for Corey LaJoie in the fact that he's almost 9 seconds behind our leader, Eric Jones, right now. So he may not be able to hit pit road, put tires on, and stay on the lead lap.
Ray Chadboat had some issues early on. What's happening with that 84 team?
Well, Rick, they had a problem with the fuel pump. The line that goes to the fuel pump was broken. They had a great run at Chicagoland, finished 5th, and it's the same race car, a new operation for Billy Boat Racing, but they're 12 laps down. Not going to be a good day for 84. But guess what? The 15 is coming to pit road, and I expect the 17 to be here in a couple of laps. Let's get down to Jim Trado.
And working lap number 22, the 15 of Eric Jones, the runner-up in June here at Pocono, coming to pit road for what should be his only stop. The discussion 2 laps ago, do we get 4 tires or 2? The driver said, let's go 2. I just need to be a little bit tighter, just a little bit tighten it up for me. They're going to put 2 Hoosier right side tires on, packet full of Sunoco fuel here. Again, lap 22 should be well enough within the window to go the distance. One small change and I'll kill the engine for Eric Jones. 1 round in the right rear in the 15 car, and he's down and away.
So just right side tires for who was our race leader, Eric Jones. Gave up the lead to Corey LaJoie now.
Remember, Chase Elliott put 4 tires on.
Chase Elliott's about a second in front of Frank Kimmel. We saw Kimmel was in front of Chase Elliott when they came onto the track, so now Chase Elliott has been able to get by that 44. Once again, the cars in front of him all have to come to pit road still.
That was pretty quick pit work by the 15 batch of Eric Jones.
Eric Jones playing a little pit strategy, just right side tires for that 15 team. LaJoie out front. Go to speed2.com to watch your favorite racing series live and on demand. Watch full races from your favorite series such as DTM, Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge, FIA Formula 3, and the Ferrari Challenge. Go to speed2.com for more info. Out in front, Corey LaJoie holding on to a 14-second lead over Justin Boston. Decides it's time to make the hard left-hand turn, and he will come onto pit road, right?
And guys, he will come across the start-finish line here on lap 34. The big question is, will those 12 laps make a difference on the fresh Hoosiers that he'll get on? We saw Chase Elliott put on 4 tires. This will be a 2-tire stop for the Medallion Taxi Ford. They're going to put fuel in it. They're also going to go up 2 rounds on the track bar. He was a little bit tight. That should free him up. We'll see how much difference it makes in his pit stop. Plenty of fuel in there. Corey LaJoie is away. It was definitely faster than the 9. We'll see where he comes out on the racetrack.
Ray, that's a good point, because I know Corey LaJoie's crew realized that Eric Jones is 7 or 8 seconds ahead of Chase Elliott after his pit stop. Remember, Chase took the extra time to put 4 tires on. Eric Jones only with 2, and that's ended up with about an 8-second lead for Eric Jones over Chase Elliott on the racetrack. Again, that's not for the lead of the race, but that's how far in front of him he is.
And now the race lead will be with Justin Boston in the 25. Behind him, Mason Mingus in the 32, Will Kimmel in the 22.
Those 3 cars have not been to pit road yet.
They will still have to come on to pit road. Again, there is at least a mandatory 1 stop that ARCA has deemed you have to come on to pit road.
Mason Mingus now is making his way down pit road. Remember, he was one of the 3 cars that has not been to pit road yet.
So he comes to pit road, and we go to Jim Trado.
Well, they're hoping for the caution, guys, no doubt. This team was trying to gamble to get a victory and gain points on Frank Kimmel. They came into this race second in points. Mingus said he felt a ton better physically and mentally coming back here to Pocono. This team is pitting from 3rd position. What they did note, why they didn't pit earlier, the cars they were racing around at the 20-lap mark of the race, they were losing a lap when they came down pit road. This team's elected to do 1 small change in the right rear, 2 tires only on the right side of the 811 call before you dig Toyota for Mingus, and he's away.
And so Jimmy's making his way back out on the track. Justin Boston, and he decides it's time to come on to pit road. So he slows it down to 55 miles an hour on pit road. We'll go back to Jim Trado.
And Justin Boston, you mentioned those 3 fourth-place finishes here. Billy Venturini's the crew chief on this car. They have a very similar setup in this race as the 15 of Eric Jones. What I did talk to Billy before the race is getting this young driver, this 23-year-old from Baltimore, some confidence. They're trying to work this car to where it can get fuel only now for the Zloop Computer and Recycling Center's Toyota. He's now down and away. Here comes Will Kimmel. He lasted 4 laps in this race in June. This is a big momentum builder for this young driver trying to be a racer full-time for a living. The family team just doesn't have the funding. This opportunity with Cunningham Motorsports for Will Kimmel is a blessing for those guys. Bill Kimmel on the box with his son Will behind the wheel. 2 tires the call there. Will kills it but refires the Dodge Charger for Cunningham Motorsports, and he's down and away.
And now it seems as though everyone has cycled through their pit stops. That will put Eric Jones out in front. The 2-tire stop. That gamble might pay off today, as he has about a 6-second lead over 2nd place Corey LaJoie right now.
Yeah, that's Eric Jones right there. Corey LaJoie, as you mentioned, is about 6 seconds behind, and then Chase Elliott is behind Corey LaJoie in the 3rd spot.
And Chase is right on the back bumper of Corey LaJoie. Eric Jones, your leader at Pocono. Welcome back to the ModSpace 125 of the ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards. In front of the field, it's Eric Jones in the 15. That 17-year-old has already led 16 of the 38 laps complete inside of 11 laps of racing to go. Good battle for that 2nd spot.
Great battle for these guys racing for the 2nd spot. Chase Elliott, the white number 9 on the inside. Corey LaJoie, the 17 on the outside, the yellow car. This is them going in the tunnel turn. Look how close they get there through the tunnel turn.
Corey LaJoie able to stay just in front of that 9. And they continue to work around some of the slower lap traffic. 11 cars on the lead lap, including Taylor Ferns in the 55.
Yeah, Taylor's going to have to come to pit road here because we're at our limit of 40 laps. Again, you have to pit by lap 40, so she will be coming to pit road. Right now, you see this battle for second. Corey LaJoie, the 17, has it. Chase Elliott chasing him, but they're both chasing that number 15 of Eric Jones, and he has about a 6-second lead. So right now, if this race goes green, I don't think those other two cars are going to have time to catch him. And Kevin Reed will win this race twice in a row from the crew chief slot with pit strategy.
Eric Jones continues to knock off some of the fastest laps. That time he was second quick to Corey LaJoie. Corey LaJoie the fastest on the track, but he's got a lot of ground to make up. One of the strongest cars in the field is on pit road for a second time. It's because the left front tire for Chase Elliott went down. He had to come to pit road to change the left side tires. Ray.
And they had debated about putting 4 on this race car, but they realized it was just the left front. They'll put tires on it, but not a shot to win today for the Aaron's Dream Machine. Chase Elliott will not repeat. Our 15 race in a row with different winners could stand up. Our only guy that can beat that is Frank Kimmel now.
Here's Corey LaJoie right now running in the second spot. That's actually when Chase Elliott's tire went down. You see him, he realized that. Very fortunate that tire gave him a little bit of warning before he got down into turn number 1.
Back out on the racetrack now is Chase Elliott, but Elliott quite a bit behind, so it will be very difficult for him to make up that ground. Eric Jones still with a 5.5-second lead over Corey LaJoie, under 7 laps of racing to go. Frank Kimmel running in the 3rd spot. Justin Boston, Brennan Newberry, your top 5.
Don't forget now, if we would get a caution flag now to close this field up, Corey LaJoie's been able to match the lap times pretty much lap after lap that Eric Jones has been able to do, so we would have a battle on our hands.
Even with the left front tire going down for Chase Elliott, we stay green. Corey LaJoie still under 6 seconds separating the 17 from the 17-year-old of Eric Jones.
And would become the youngest super speedway winner in the history of ARCA, surpassing what Chase was able to do
just a month or two ago.
Yeah.
So Eric Jones looking to put his name in the record book. Corey LaJoie would like to get his 2nd win in the ARCA Racing Series, and just the first time he's ever been to Pocono.
We've seen that smoke out of the left front tire just about since the beginning of the race, and undoubtedly you use a lot of brake getting down in turn number 1 at this racetrack, and undoubtedly there's got a little bit of a tire rub there when he gets on the brakes hard, but hasn't caused any issues thus far. We're only 6 laps to the end.
15 of Eric Jones, still with a 6-second lead over 2nd place Corey LaJoie. Coming in, Eric Jones's best career finish was Pocono in his first start earlier this year, where he finished runner-up to Chase Elliott. Now trying to do that one better. 5 laps of racing to go for Eric Jones.
Frank Kimmel continues to hold down the 3rd spot. Justin Boston now running 4th. Brennan Newberry with a good run running in the 5th spot.
Last time by, take a look at the 15 coming off a 3 right up against the wall.
He actually got into the wall with about a 6-second lead. He's lost about a 2nd of that lead right now over Corey LaJoie. It's down under 5 seconds with 5 to go.
There's 2nd place Corey LaJoie. You see the distance between the two, 5 seconds separating the top 2. But it's a long ways back to 3. Frank Kimmel is 18 seconds behind Eric Jones. That means he's 14 seconds behind LaJoie.
Another good run for Justin Boston. That 25 car right now running in the 4th spot. You see he right now is 33 seconds behind our leader. There's Frank right there. He's 18 seconds behind in the 3rd spot. But again, it'll be another good point day if he can finish with a top 3 finish for Frank.
Yeah, when you talk championship, Frank Kimmel once again will finish in front of Mason Mingus, who's 2nd in the points coming in. Frank already with a 180-point lead over Mason Mingus. Riding along with Boston. He's got the 4th position held down. 3 Toyotas in the top 4. LaJoie in the blue oval running in the 2nd spot. Teammates here.
As As Taylor Ferns right now holding down the 15th position. She had a good run going, actually sped on pit road on her green flag pit stop, had to come back and do a pass through to serve that penalty.
Brennan Newberry running in the 5th spot. 4:24. Number 92.
Getting so much good experience for tomorrow's Camping World Truck Series race that we'll have right here live on Speed.
3 laps of racing remain. Newberry holding down that 5th spot. Would like to be chasing down Justin Boston, who's 4 seconds in front of him. Spencer Gallagher running in the 6th spot, close to a lap behind our race leader Eric Jones.
That would be Spencer's best finish since he finished second at Salem way back earlier this year, the 3rd race of the year.
Long Pond straightaway. And the short shoot.
Problems for the 15.
Eric Jones is slow. He got into the wall. Jim Trado
said he just shut off, but he got in the wall at the same time. He brushed the wall a few laps ago. No panic on the radio from anyone here on his crew, but now it has turned to desperation for these guys. After that wall contact in that Toyota Care Camry, the crew jumped on their feet, were watching and pacing, waiting for the finish, but now the car just shut off on Jones as he made his way through the tunnel turn. Issues now for what was a race leader.
Corey LaJoie, under 2 laps of racing to go, looking for his 2nd win in the ARCA Racing Series.
There's a lot of traffic in front of him. He has a huge lead right now over Frank Kimmel, about 16 seconds. Watch this now. This is the 15 of Eric Jones.
Trying to get by that 0-2 of Josh Williams.
He made a little bit of contact at the entrance to the tunnel turn right here. You just wonder if that jarred something loose electrically.
Into that wall. And so the 15 on pit road, the hood up, not the finish Eric Jones was looking for. Corey LaJoie now will try to get by that 0-2 as well. And this time he'll see the white flag. One more time around for Corey LaJoie.
Corey doesn't need to take any chances, has a 16-second lead right now on Frank Kimmel. Just has to make it another 2 miles around this racetrack.
Corey LaJoie made his first ARCA start of the 2013 season at Chicagoland. He ended up in victory lane. Now, the 15 of Eric Jones has made it onto pit road. That gives the lead to Corey LaJoie. He's looking for his 2nd win of the year in his 2nd start of the year.
Remember, it looked like the 22 of Ryan Blaney had the best car at Chicago. Didn't have it, ran out of gas. That handed the win to Corey LaJoie. Corey looked like he was going to finish 2nd to Eric Jones. Eric had some issues. Corey's right here to take advantage.
Final turn for Corey LaJoie in just his 3rd start in the ARCA Racing Series. Pretty good average going for the 17 of Corey LaJoie. LaJoie wins at Pocono.
Harold Holly did such a great job for Corey LaJoie. Great pit work, great decision here. 2nd place, Frank Kimmel. A very quick 2-tire pit stop. That got him good track position. Got him out in front of Chase Elliott. Chase ended up having the left front tire go down. But great job by this entire team here.
Corey LaJoie is going to celebrate once again. Again, this field got spread out. In the end, only 8 cars on the lead lap. Justin Boston will come home in the 3rd spot, and we got a crash on the racetrack. The 0-7 of Brian Coltrider. A lot of damage to the front of that car.
That's a Mason Mitchell in the 82 car. Mason was running in the 7th position. This race went caution-free till the very last lap of the race.
Mason Mitchell in the 82. See him catching his breath.
A lot of damage to that 82 Happy Cheeks car.
So as the checkered flag had come out, contact being made between a couple cars.
Coltrider was at least a couple laps down to the field. Mason Mitchell was one of the cars on the lead lap. He will still end up finishing probably in the 8th position by virtue of the fact he was on the lead lap.
And slow to take the belts off. Got the steering wheel off. The window net's going to go down, signifying to the safety crews as they come to him that he's going to be all right. We'll be able to climb out of that car. And Corey LaJoie taking advantage once again of the misfortunes of some of his competitors, and one of those being Eric Jones standing by with Jim.
Eric climbed out of his car and he started walking right back to the hauler. Obviously disappointed. Eric, talk about what happened on the racetrack that cost you this victory.
Yeah, we just lost the motor, I guess. We had a really strong Toyota Camry and ran up front all day, made a good strategy call there with on lap 30 when we pitted, and then went back out. We were ahead of Corey. I think we could have held him off. He wasn't really getting right to us fast, and just lost the motor going down the back stretch and took us out of the race. So just unfortunate now. Two really close races at Pocono for us. Just kind of taken away, but come back. Hopefully we can come back next year and give it another shot.
That's Eric Jones, 2.5 laps away from becoming the youngest super speedway winner here in history. Eric Jones coming to pit road with motor issues, did not return to the racetrack, and off he goes as a disappointed driver, hoping to celebrate like Corey LaJoie is right now. It won't happen.
Yeah, just 17 years old for Eric Jones. He'll have quite a few more opportunities, but the 17 of Corey LaJoie has figured out how to celebrate after winning. This time it's in Pocono. Coverage of the ARCA Racing Series on Speed is brought to you by Scott Prep and Cleanup Solutions for contractors, DIYers, and moms. All available at Menards. Let's head to Victory Lane. He'll be there with Corey LaJoie. That's Ray Dunlap.
He's climbing out of this bright yellow taxi cab, number 17. Back-to-back victories for Corey LaJoie. Corey, a year ago, you almost won the championship in the K&M Pro Series East. Earlier this year, you get signed with Richard Petty Motorsports, and now you're a back-to-back winner. How's it feel to be Corey LaJoie right now?
It feels awesome. I just can't thank Medallion Financial, Sentimental Management, my grandpa, everybody for getting me to this point. And man, this is the tricky triangle, no joke. Man, this thing it's pretty technical, and I started figuring out there towards the end of the race. And I just want to say hey to Gramps. He's in the hospital. Love you, Grandpa. And one of my aunt's friends, AJ, we're thoughts out to him. And
there's his dad, Randy, coming in with a little congratulations. These two have worked awfully hard together to get you right to this spot.
Man, it's me working on the car and him getting the money to get us here. It definitely takes us both to do it, and I'm having one hell of a time doing it.
All right, Harold Hawley made a great strategy call. They went with 2 tires on lap 34, and Corey LaJoie is in victory lane at Pocono. Jim?
And Frank Kimmel pitted on lap 20. Conservative call, but really it played off because you guys really had a fast race car, got back to the front, finishing second. Frank, take us through your day.
It was a great day. The Ansel Menards Toyota ran really well, and we just wasn't quite as fast as 2 or 3 of those cars, and we kind of like that way the whole practice. So just really proud of the guys. They worked hard and had a good pit stop and got back out, and we tried everything we could to sneak in there and get up there and try to win one, but end up second. Pretty happy with that outcome.
And Frank Kimmel increases point lead heading to Berlin Raceway in Grand Rapids for this Saturday night.
Thanks, Jim. Want to take another look at that crash at the end of this race. It will be considered a caution-free race, but take a look at the 07. Up the racetrack it will go.
See, the 32 of Mason Mingus goes by and pulls the back end around. The 82 was racing the 32 for position. That's Mason Mitchell in the 82 car. When the 07 came back up the racetrack, he had absolutely nowhere to go.
Phil, listen to this one. That is a hard hit right at you. Now riding along, listen to this.
Just had no idea that was going to happen because that car was so far to the inside. When he got loose, he turned sideways and then turned right back up into the path of the 82 of Mason Mitchell.
So LaJoie will celebrate. Win number 2. Talk about it being back-to-back. He started in Chicagoland, the first race of 2013 for him. Got the victory, and now he comes to his second race of the 2013 season at Pocono, and he gets the win again. Frank Kimmel, points lead, increasing over Mason Mingus today.
Yeah, just about a full race. They get 200 points for winning. It goes down 5 points per position. You get bonus points for leading laps and for the top 3 qualifiers, but essentially a full race right now lead for Frank Kimmel.
Milcaduno in the 7th spot in the point standings. Will Kimmel in the top 10, joining Uncle Frank Kimmel.
Mason Mitchell moves up a spot to 6th.
Corey LaJoie, all smiles, building the car with his own hands, putting it all together. And once again, he's put it all together right here at Pocono. He goes to victory lane for the second time in 2013.